Hey, insight number 3. I'm in my new little garden in the winter sun. It's a bit windy and it's very cold, but nonetheless sun, so we're being in it. Sun. Okay, still in 2 Kings chapter 4, because this just has a lot in it that I pulled from this week. I just, I always prayerfully pick what I'm going to share with you. Hopefully you get something from it. So this particular one covers verses 13 through 37, which is the rest of the story of this great woman that so graciously accommodated Elisha in her home and made a space for him to, whenever he dropped by, to sleep and have some bread and be safe. And wouldn't you love to do that for a prophet now? Just like, anytime you drop by, here's a room for you. That'd be cool. I'd totally have them come stay with me if they ever wanted to. They're welcome. House isn't always tidy, and right now the room's full of packing boxes, but you're welcome. Anyway, so this is about her story, and trusting the Lord, trusting his prophets. We too can proclaim it as well, because that's what she did. So in the last one I said that she was asked by Elisha, what can I do for you for this generosity that you've offered me? And she said, no, I'm good, it's all right. He gave her something anyway. She didn't have any children, and he said, all right, so when this season's right, which is like within the next year, when it's going to work for you, when you're fertile, I guess, you'll have a child. And she's like, and she said in verse 16, she's like, and said, nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid. As in, like, she knows she can't have kids, so like, don't give me false promises. And it turns out she conceived, and she's like, okay, not a false promise. I believe in the prophet. I have faith now. He's not just this man of God that believes in God. He is actually a prophet. And he, the kid's growing up, and he says one day when he goes out to the reapers in the field with his dad, he says, oh, my head really hurts, and takes him home, and he dies. So something must have been going on. Who knows, right? It could have been cancer, it could have been an aneurysm. We know more these days, but back then we just know that his head hurt. And his dad took him home and laid him down, and he passed away. And she says, this great woman says, get like a horse ready. Or she says asses, but horse, donkey, whatever. And this is in verse 22. That I may run to the man of God and come again. So she's like, I'm going to the prophet. I'm going to that man of God because he gave me this son. He's going to bring him back. I'm meant to have the son. He's not meant to die. He's going to bring him back. And at the end of verse 23, because her husband says, but, it's neither this or that. It's not going to matter what you do. He's not believing yet. And she says, no, it is well. It will be well. Reassuring him, it's going to be okay. So she gets on this steed, this ass, and goes off to Mount Carmel as fast as she can. Gets the Gehazi, the servant, and then goes and talks to Elisha. Elisha says to Gehazi, go and check on the boy and see if it's actually, if he's actually dead. And Gehazi said, yes, he is. And they leave her alone with, she doesn't actually say that something's wrong. Elisha perceives it. So that's also testimony to her that he is a prophet, because he perceives that something is wrong and says that, no, the Lord has hidden it from me, what's going on. Then sends Gehazi to go check, and then follows up with going in and actually reviving him, and the way it describes is a very way of doing mouth to mouth, I guess, but it's also like giving a prophet's blessing, and it does bring him back. She says again, it is well, a child opened his eyes in verse 35, and in 36 he called to Gehazi and said, call the Shunammite, that's what she was a Shunammite. So he called her, and she came into him and said, take up thy son. And in 37, then she went down and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and looked up at her son and went out. And that's the end of that little story there, that little miracle. And again, we don't know her name, but she had great faith. So she trusted in the Lord, trusted in the prophet, and was able to proclaim it as well, even though her son had died and things were bad. I don't know that any of us would be going, if our children died, oh, it is well, that's okay. And yet, I know people that have passed away on me, and I've been able to say, it's okay, it is well. It doesn't mean that it's perfect or easy, or that I'm not going to have tears over it, but it is well. It is well with the Lord, it is well with my soul. So here we see complete trust and faith in the prophet. This woman goes to the prophet when his son dies, knowing he has power to make it well again. Elisha goes and does another miracle in raising from death her son that was a miracle to begin with. This woman knew the Lord would. She doubted not. We may not get our requests answered in the way we want, yet if we doubt not and trust the Lord and his living prophets, we too can see the bigger picture and proclaim it is well. And I can do that. I can actually proclaim it as well. There is never a perfectness to life. There's always financial worries, no matter how much money you've got. There's always something that's broken that needs fixing. There's always washing to do. There's always dinners to cook. There's always something. There's always more sleep needed. There's always something going on. Like, it's never complete rest, or you can have rest times, but it's never complete rest. There's always something that you're going to need to do in the coming days. So you can say, if you have complete trust in the Lord and trust in his prophets and follow those ways, you can be in all of that and still say it is well, because you know it's going to be, and you really do. You feel it. It's really there. For this one, I just wanted to point us to hymn 30 in that green hymn book. The line, though hard to you this journey may appear, all is well. And I love that hymn, Come, Come, Ye Saints. It talks about, even if you die before your journey's through, happy day, all is well. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And should we still be here? It's okay too. We'll keep going. All is well. So go look at that hymn. It's really, really cool in relation to this whole principle of it as well. There's some good songs around it, but I do particularly like hymn 30 in the green hymn book. I know the hymn book's about to change, that's why I'm specifying green hymn book. Come, come, ye saints. If you don't have that, maybe you can get it through the Gospel, a library app, or you can just literally Google it. It will come up. So there you go. All right. All is well, no matter what. It could be disaster everywhere. If you're trusting in Christ, trusting in his prophets, you can stand there and say, okay, this is a big storm, but it is well. Because I know where I am and I know where I fit. So, yeah. Okay. Hang around. We're going to do number 4. Go over to 2 Kings chapter 5. I'll see you there.